You need a clap thing?
Yes. Hi, welcome back to In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy. This recipe is called, I made up the name.
Because it's sort of your own recipe.
It is.
Okay.
Not that somebody's probably not already done this before, but I don't know where I got it, so I'm just saying it's mine. It's called Chicken with Parmesan Cheese.
Really?
I know, isn't that exotic?
But it's not chicken parmesan.
Exactly, not to be confused with chicken
That's
parmesan, which is a much more exotic recipe and will take a lot longer.
Okay, so the first things first?
First things first, a toast?
Yes.
We always love that part.
Traditions are traditions.
Traditions are traditions.
By the way,
yes?
this is close as I'll
Cheers.
get to saying anything fashion related. Notice that my koozie sort of matches. I know it's not exactly the same color.
Nicely done.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's his contribution actually to the whole recipe.
Because you're the first apron.
This could have been done without him even standing here. But you are here as my moral support.
Okay.
And it is In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy. So chicken with Parmesan cheese. Let me tell you what you're going to need. I already took the chicken out of the freezer because I knew I wanted to get it ready for our recipe. We bought chicken breast, just your standard, and it came with 2. They're huge. So while the recipe probably calls for 4 to 6 chicken breasts, if they're the size of your fist, then yes. But if they're the size of our gargantuan chicken breast here, just 1 cut in half and then maybe even cut in half again. I'll show you the way that I do it for ours. You need mayonnaise. Obviously, your choice of the brand is up to you. You're going to need Parmesan cheese. Paul and I really like the shaved Parmesan for our Caesar salads and for recipes like this. If you do it the traditional way and you're not worried about gluten, definitely go with the Pepperidge Farm herb seasoned classic stuffing. It's fantastic, delicious, wonderful, and I'm always very jealous when a recipe is made with it. But because I do live a gluten-free lifestyle, I choose to make this recipe with a gluten-free panko flakes instead. And those are always very easy to find at your grocery store. The other thing you're going to need is some kind of pan spray. You can always use olive oil, or you could even take butter and just line the bottom of it, but it's just so the chicken doesn't stick to the pan. I'm also going to use a 9 by 9 inch baking dish. So that's only because we're doing a smaller recipe, cutting it in half. You can always double it with a 9 by 13 inch. And you need a little bit of butter, so that's all I brought out was a little bit of butter.
Like it.
And I'll show you how you're going to use that too. So let's start out.
No, side dish we're not even talking about.
Well, this is such an easy recipe that you and I typically will just do, say, a Caesar salad or a rice with it alongside. You could also do a baked potato if you want to. So the way that I do mine, because as I say, these are so large, is I'll cut it in half once, and then because this one is so large, I think I may even cut it in half again. So I'd get quartered pieces, and we'll get a lot more out of it that way too.
I will also say that this is a commercial for Get Fit with Judy.
How so?
This is what we do. We split our portions anyway.
Yeah.
We eat half of whether we're going to a restaurant or whether we're cooking for ourselves.
Very true. Yep. So you can see, I mean, these are really generous sizes. And with the steak recipes that you do, you could probably gauge for me, is this about a 6 ounce, maybe 5 ounce piece of chicken?
Yeah, it's thin, so I'd probably put that at around 5 ounces.
Or 4, maybe? Yeah.
So that's good.
So I'm going to let you,
good
since
for
my
us.
hands have the chicken on them, why don't you spray the pan if you would?
Oh, I get to do something?
Yes, you get to do something.
By the way, Judy is first apron today. And that's because my arms are still so tired from the risotto dish. Where I had to stir constantly for 30 minutes.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to grab quickly a paper towel so I don't get chicken all over everything.
Acceptable?
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so spray the bottom of the pan. Now, you're also going to need probably, and I usually eyeball this myself too, because it's not rocket science, but depending on how much you're making, I'm probably going to do 1/3 cup of mayonnaise with mine, with the size of these chicken breasts. Oh, and I might as well just lay it in and show you kind of what it's going to look like and how it will fill the pan. Also makes it nice and easy when the recipe is done to dish it out. So this would serve 4 people just so easily. All right.
Oh, and we have set our oven too?
Oh, good point. So yes, preheat your oven to 425.
Okay.
There are options, and everybody has a different opinion, I think, on how to cook chicken. Some people will say 350 for an hour is good. Paul and I have found that when I do chicken dishes, and I have a really good Swiss cheese chicken dish that I'll probably want to share with you at some point too, because that's another good one. It's easy, just enough different from this. But that I'd prefer to turn the oven up to a higher heat and cook it for, a lesser period of time. So, and I may cheat and add a little bit more mayonnaise, so I'm not going to put that away just yet. But the other thing you do, and it would be roughly 1 to 1. So it would be roughly 1/3 of a cup or so of Parmesan. And then you mix those together. So just mix the mayonnaise with the Parmesan cheese. And it's not as though you have to get the shaved Parmesan. We get shredded Parmesan sometimes.
Sure.
But I prefer the cut Parmesan over just the shaker kind.
Yeah.
Can't even think of the name of that kind. But see,
Shredded.
is that what it is? In the can?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the, yeah.
What is that one called?
I don't know. We never even use those anymore.
I grew up with that kind of Parmesan cheese that you just used to flake over your meal. But, all right. So when it gets to a point where that looks just about right as far as the equal portions. So it's mixed, kind of in a paste.
We done with our knife?
We are done with that one, yes. Thank you. Then I'm just going to kind of divvy it out over each one of the chicken breasts. And that's why I say a lot of times it's just kind of eyeballing it to see what you think looks best and even. But it's definitely not soupy or runny. You want it so that you can kind of spread it around and that all the pieces get a nice amount of that wonderful Parmesan. And the mayonnaise is almost more the catalyst than anything. But it adds a real, exactly. But it adds a really wonderful flavor. And if done right, and I'm gauging it right, you will have a nice crispy brown top of that chicken. So that looks about the way that it should. Thank you, sir. So I don't need any more mayonnaise. Oh. And the next thing, thank you, is either your stuffing or your panko. And in this case, once again, eyeballing it just because you're so used to it. So just take either one of them and cover it fairly generously, because remember, this is going to be the crust, not the crust, but the crust of your chicken with Parmesan cheese.
And by the way, as somebody who enjoys his gluten, I really like this recipe, even though we use the gluten-free portion of it.
Yeah, so good advertisement for gluten-free panko flakes, regardless of the brand. All right, last but not least, oh, I need that knife back. No, never mind, I'll get another one. Because this is, as opposed to getting a stick of butter and cutting it in half and using a whole half a stick, I like to just dollop the top of it with just a little bit. Okay. Now, is this necessary? Probably not. And I even heard from a woman in one of our recipes, she said, I really don't like butter. I don't know if it's that she couldn't eat butter or if it was that she didn't like the flavor of it. But you probably don't have to do this step. The reason I like it is because the butter melts, obviously, in the oven, and it helps to brown the top of that crust. So another way that you could do this is, if you don't like my particular system, is to melt the butter and then just pour just drizzle on the melted butter over it.
Now, if it's somebody that can't have butter, our daughter Kristen would use, was it just like a butter substitute? It was just all vegetable based?
I think so. I don't remember which one she bought, but you can do any kind of research. I've seen people talk about a certain kind of butter. And some people have even used a coconut butter or a coconut oil instead of butter. So I just have it kind of look like that. And then the last step is to cover it with your aluminum foil.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yes, I grew up saying tinfoil, so it makes me concentrate pretty hard to think about saying aluminum foil.
Well, once again, tin foil is what you wear on your head when the aliens, when you want to block their communication.
You don't want them to land.
Right.
You want to block their. Okay,
we used aluminum
we have
foil.
to temp.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we are. Okay, good. So we'll put this in the oven, and then it'll cook for 20 minutes, and then after that 20 minutes, take the aluminum foil off and broil it on high for another 3. That's when you're going to get your really good browning. So what you're going to do is change the oven from bake. It'll look like that to start. Oh, I forgot to turn the lights on. Hopefully you're able to see, but we're going to put it into broil, and then I'll show it to you at the end. Sorry, I forgot to turn the lights back on so everybody could see what was going on.
Let me see.
See if you can see a difference.
This is the before. And this is the after.
There. Ta-da! Lights, camera,
And Judy will come over
action.
and cover up that glare from the
I went
refrigerator.
camera, action, lights.
Still works.
Yes.
Oh, you wanted me to put the timer.
Yeah, so I would put it now
3
for
minutes.
2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Are you sure?
I think it took me about 30 seconds to turn the lights on. And in the meantime, you guys, I was also making a little Caesar salad, because that's just such a nice, easy dish to go along with the chicken. And as I said, if you stop and get breast of chicken and you've already got mayonnaise in your refrigerator and hopefully Parmesan cheese, if not, you're stopping for chicken breast, Parmesan cheese, you get home and truthfully, you get it all set up, you have the pan spray.
Doesn't take long.
And you're eating within a half an hour.
Yeah.
So it can be a very quick homemade meal, very
And
yummy.
I like this for 2 reasons. One, it's very, very good. And 2, I have to do very little.
Well, when it's done, I'm going to put it in
I'm
that
the guy
nice.
that does the steak. I'm the one, oh, by the way, we have a lot of go-tos, don't we, Judy?
Yes.
So one of the good things about the Get Fit with Judy mantra
Yes.
is that, like, when we buy the chicken, as we said, that's going to be 2 meals for us.
Sure.
When I get 1 pound of the Kobe beef for our taco night,
Yep.
it's two different taco nights
Yeah.
for us. So
Yep.
you freeze half, and yeah.
Cut those portions in half and you'll lose that weight that you want to lose. I want to check the progress.
Okay.
And we've also got some rice on the stove too, so multitasking, which is of course why he and I like to cook together. So great. What do you see? What do you see? Now, this is what I'm talking about.
Oh yes.
Look at that. That is chicken with Parmesan cheese.
You know what they say, it's the sizzle.
And as we like to say, bon appetit. And we will see you the next time around for In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy.
Thanks for watching.
Bye. Time for another toast.
I'm out.
Oh. Because of the little bit of pats of butter on the top, it's going to brown nicely. But you know, another thing I didn't do in one of the recipes that I wanted to show you on camera, but I kind of messed up because I just didn't do things properly. We had too much butter in one, not enough panko, and so it just came out really soupy, and it was good. We ate it,
Yes.
but it wasn't good to show you because I know there's a recipe way to do it better. So yes, what were you going to say? Motor
I
mouth.
was going to say recipe way to do it better. This is
Is that what I just said?
It's a Judaism from
I didn't
get-go.
say it like that, did I? Oh well.
You have
I
to
have not
stay till
changed.
the end of all of these videos. Sometimes we have the outtakes,
Yes.
and they are priceless.
Sometimes, depending on how good or bad they are, I'll put them in because I'm the editor, so I get to control
So
that.
I look worse than Judy does.
All right, time for me on that cue. Time for me to check and see again.
All right, I think I'm
the
about
best
ready
part.
to do my thing.